Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I have a great pleasure to welcome you at our today's webinar of Autoglass company. We are going to take you to the world of the latest technologies. Here in our studio, we also are equipped with the latest technologies. The reason for organizing the webinar like that results from the safety reasons. Today we are going to be talking about safety and the state-of-the-art technologies. I'm a great lover of the automotive industry, but I've never been interested in vehicle glass. We are always interested in some details, technical details, but we don't think about vehicle glass. And only after meeting people from Autoglass company, I've learned that the vehicle glass is a very advanced and complex product. And we would like to tell you about all this during these 2 days. Today we have several guests. The first one is somebody who knows everything about vehicle glass, the director of Autoglass company, Mr. Piotr Trzcionka. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure for me to welcome you to the webinar on behalf of AUTOGLASS Polska. The first question, Piotr, this is amazing. It's just glass. So, what is it like to be somebody who's devoted the whole life to this single element, vehicle glass? Well, previously I also paid attention to different elements of a car, the motor, for example, etc., etc. And only when I started working for the company, I've discovered how complex the product is, what the technological progress in this respect is. But maybe let me start with saying who we are. We are located in Koszalin and Słupsk at the seaside in Poland. Beautiful place and fantastic people. And this is where our history started. This is where we produced AGC and Nordglass car windows. Now, AGC is the biggest global company producing modern vehicle glass systems. Because actually today we can be talking about autoglass systems, not single windows. A very important thing happened in 2019 when we, as Nordglass, because that was our brand at that time on the Polish market, we joined Belron company. Belron company is the largest company in the world repairing and replacing, fitting vehicle glass. Yeah, for me it's amazing that you can repair car glass. And this is what we are going to be talking about. Well, everybody knows what a piece of glass looks like. This is something transparent that you don't really notice. But today, the vehicle glass includes cameras, radars, sensors, etc. So all these need to be recalibrated after each replacement of car glass. Safety is the most important thing for us. Let me tell you about a tragic story. June 2019, near the city of Szczecin, a truck is hitting passenger cars. 6 people died, 7 people were heavily injured. And that tragedy could have been avoided if the appropriately calibrated safety system existed on the truck. And such systems actually are obligatory since 2016. Now, what is happening with the systems? Are they working correctly? They should be working, but sometimes they don't work. Well, the drivers do not realize that after the windscreen is replaced, the system can operate properly if it is properly calibrated or recalibrated. Since I'm starting from 2022, such systems will be obligatory both in heavy vehicles, trucks, but also passenger cars. So let's remember that it's not only about the premium segment cars. This will be obligatory for all the cars on the market. Well, the segment of the vehicles does not really matter. It may be that if we take into account the economy segment, still the windscreen may be much more expensive than windscreen of a higher class segment, because it may be equipped with more elements related to safety. So, whenever possible, we propose to customers that we repair the windscreen rather than replace it, because it's just cheaper. Well, it's really amazing. I mean, you can glue the glass, repair it. Yes, this is what we can do. The technology that we have is the best in the world. And thanks to that, if the customer repairs his or her windscreen in our garage, then we give a life guarantee for this repair. So I would like to wish you a fruitful conference. Thank you very much. Piotr Sionka, the director of Autoglass Company. As I've promised, I would like to invite you to the world of amazing technologies. You will have an opportunity to listen to the person who I've met and who really is incredible. He's told me so much about what can be done when the glass is damaged, how you can do that in an economic and good manner. Mr. Eddie Irving from Belron Company.
How are you, Eddie? Are you with us?
I am, Joanna.
Nice to hear you in a good mood. I hope you're absolutely ready for the presentation.
I am. It's slightly different to the presentation the last time.
Okay, my dear. So we're online. Let's start your presentation.
Okay, thank you. So thank you, Joanna, and thank you, Piotr, and the Autoglass Poland team for inviting me to follow up on the previous presentation, which was back in November 2019. As the guys mentioned, we want to share with you today some trends on increasing glass complexity, but also what Autoglass Poland can do to prevent you from the rising claims costs linked to the glass complexity. The purpose of the session today is to create an understanding of the key technological trends in glass, or as we call it, VGRR, Vehicle Glass Repair and Replacement, to explain to you how Autoglass Poland are prepared for these challenges, and also to demonstrate what we can do to assist you in making informed underwriting decisions and help you reduce these rising claims costs linked to glass. So over the last few years, we are seeing a trend, larger and thinner glass. And since 2000 to 2015, average glass surface size has increased 15%. But the glass has actually got 10% thinner. And the example over here on the right is the Lucid, which will be launched which was launched in 2020. And you can see the amount of glass that's in this vehicle. And this is the trend. This is the way the vehicle manufacturers are moving forward. But why this is important to you guys as leasing companies and insurance companies is this is actually leading to different damage types and less repairable opportunities in vehicle windscreen glass. Play video 1. So here we see some new technology that's going to become more and more mainstream. Now, this is not going to be high-end vehicles. This is going to come just as standard in very, very basic cars. And what we say here is this is augmented reality. So you're going to see more and more of this equipment become mainstream over the next few years. And the aim here is to keep the driver's eyes on the glass instead of being distracted by things like looking at navigation systems that are on different screens in the cars. Already we see Mercedes-Benz are planning on having augmented reality and heads-up display in their vehicles. We know we have it now in the new Mercedes S-Class. But some of the challenges this will cause all of us, insurance companies, leasing companies, and certainly repair companies like ourselves, is these systems, in addition to the ADAS cameras, could possibly need recalibrated to make sure that the messages that are portrayed on the glass are in line with the systems on the cars. So we see the augmented reality roadmap. Now it's worth mentioning here, we've spoke about the windscreen, but augmented reality is also being planned for side glass on cars. So you imagine you're driving in your car, your children are in the back of the car, and there can be messages relayed to the side glass of the car to keep the people occupied. The most important part about this slide is, if you look at the vehicle manufacturers who are actually driving this, it's not just the high-end cars like Audi, like BMW. Hyundai are going to make this equipment standard in their entry model vehicles. Now, this will significantly impact glass claim costs. So if we look at a windscreen today, 2020, you can see all the different attachments that are on the current windscreen. We have ADAS brackets, we have heated windscreens, acoustic glass, and solar films on the glass. But we know that by 2025, there's going to be a significant movement into ADAS-equipped glass. But the big watch out, certainly, is the heads-up display. Heads-up display is going to come more and more mainstream in entry-level cars. And with heads-up display and with augmented realities in cars, they will need to install more acoustic glass in the cars to keep the sound levels down within the vehicle. These are the trends, exactly what we see as Belron across all our European markets. And we see very, very strong trends in acoustic glass, strong trends in heads-up display, and really strong trends in ADAS brackets. So what we're seeing from the vehicle manufacturers is already starting to have an impact in our supply chains, not only across Europe, but across the world. And the impact is it's impacting the glass claims cost across all insurance companies and all leasing companies. Some niche technologies, it's nice to know, but nothing mainstream yet, as we see some vehicle manufacturers switching towards what we call switchable glazing, where you can flick a button in the car and you can darken the windows of the car. And then we do see some cars, such as the Ford GT, which has the back glass panel made by Gorilla Glass, which they say is unbreakable. So that would be similar to the glass that you see on your iPhone. So this is nice to know, but we don't see any widespread deployment as yet. So what's the trend? What's the trend impact on claims cost and underwriting? So this is a great example just to show you. And when I give these presentations in the countries, I like to show cars that are relevant to that market. So if we take, for example, top selling car in Poland, the Skoda. If you were to walk into a Skoda main dealer today and just ask for a piece of glass for a 2018, 2019, not fitted, not recalibrated, just the bare glass, to the new Skoda Octavia now, there's a 76% price increase just in the glass. This does not include fitting. It does not include any recalibrations that are required on the vehicle. This is purely just the glass. So that just gives you a feel for the types of technology that are now associated with just the standard windscreen in the Skoda. And your market is no different to the other markets that we see. So this was a presentation that was given 3 weeks ago to a Dutch insurer, and they have quite a high level of Volkswagen Golfs in this market. The axis along the bottom is the value of the car, and the axis to the left is the price of the glass. And what you see here is a low value Volkswagen Golf now has a piece of glass in the front windscreen, similar to a vehicle that is worth 100 to 110,000 euros. And again, this does not include ADAS charges. The more advanced technology we see in glass and rain sensors can actually limit where we can offer windscreen repairs on cars. We cannot offer a windscreen repair within the area where the camera views. So as we move from single cameras to stereo cameras, you can see that it can limit the area of where we can perform a windscreen repair. The sample on the bottom right is the sample of a Subaru. And because of the Subaru technology, you can see that the limit of the area where we can carry out repair, we can only actually repair the top 1/3 of the windscreen. And as we see heads-up display become more and more mainstream in many of the manufacturers, this is going to cause more issues for where we can repair repairable damage in the windscreen. Now, we are very, very, very aware of this, and we are developing new technologies to try and overcome these technological challenges from the vehicle manufacturers and the glass manufacturers. Play video 2. So this is an example of our ARC technology. So since since 1990, since the introduction of glass repair, we've moved as Belron and as Autoglass, our technology. We had to change the technology we use to repair the glass because the glass has changed. As I mentioned earlier, glass has got thinner, and when glass becomes thinner, it presents us with more challenges. So when we try and push the resin into the cracks, we need to make sure that we don't apply too much pressure that it breaks the glass. The example on the top right, 1990, is the example of the Belron technology that was first developed. And this is called bridge technology. And you can see here the vehicle manufacturers such as BMW and Opel are still using this old technology, which does require applying quite a lot of pressure uncontrolled on the glass to get the resins to go in. We've developed new technology, what we call ART technology, and it applies less pressure, but it actually puts more resin in the glass. And we've had to adapt this technology to deal with the thinner glass that the vehicle manufacturers are now installing in the cars. There are no legal requirements on windscreen repair. There are individual country standards. We keep fully auditable standards for all the repairs that we carry out, and we follow all the guidelines as for our resins and the quality of the products that we sell in our windscreen repair. But what makes us different? We know that car manufacturers make cars. They don't make glass repair systems. But it's the art and the craftsmanship of the Belron trained, the Autoglass trained technicians that enable us to deliver the high repair percentages and the high quality repair standards across all our markets across the world to deal with the changing demands that are coming from the glass and the technologies. Repair eliminates glass replacement clearly when it comes to windscreens, but given that we now see so many cars coming with recalibration, with cameras, heads-up displays, if you repair a windscreen, which saves you replacing the windscreen, then the saving is the glass plus the saving from not having to recalibrate the vehicle. And this significantly reduces the claims cost, which you can save money for your partners and for your customers. So 3 facts about glass repair. Now, most of you know that I work across many markets across the world, and we're proud to say, as Belron and as Autoglass, we have some of the highest repair percentages in the world, but we just don't get those repair percentages overnight. We put a lot of time and effort into the training, the tooling, and the equipment to make sure that we can deliver what we promise to our leasing company partners, to our insurance partners. So I thought it was just relevant just to cover 3 facts from the Polish market about glass repair. Fact number 1, we know that in Poland, 96% of people who present to Autoglass with a chip repair end up having a chip repair done. And the way I like to explain this to customers across the world is the damage that Autoglass is presented with by the customer is no different to the damage any other dealer or vehicle glass repair and replacement company is presented with. The chip is a chip. It's how our technicians, our branch managers, and our technical guys deal with that makes us able to convert 96% of those repairs into a repair being done, therefore saving the costly windscreen replacement or the calibration. Point number 2, as Piotr mentioned earlier, we give a quality guarantee on the repair in Autoglass Poland. If the repair fails, simply, we'll replace the glass for free. That's how confident we are in repairing the windscreens to the high standard. And fact number 3, we measure NPS. We measure NPS across all our markets across the world. And what we can show you in Poland is that customers value repair. Customers who have a windscreen repair carried out in Poland actually score a higher customer service score than customers who have a glass replacement. So we could ask ourselves why, but repair is convenient, it's quick, and it's cost effective. But the most important part is the quality of the finished repair is of a really, really high standard, which says that customers really value windscreen repair. Joanna, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Eddie. Thanks a lot. Your knowledge is
Bardzo
absolutely
dziękuję,
really
Eddie.
incredible.
Ta
We'll
technologia
hear you
jest
tomorrow
naprawdę
also.
niesamowita. No i jutro znów będziemy
thank
Cię
you very
słuchać. Także bardzo dziękuję.
Szanowni Państwo, jak Państwo sami zaczynacie zdawać sobie
Now,
sprawę z tego,
ladies
to
and
była dla mnie
gentlemen,
absolutnia nowość, że szyba
You
samochodowa
probably
staje się czymś w
have
rodzaju
started realizing that the windscreen is becoming like a command center. And of course, you need to be able to repair this command center, and you have to learn how deep the damage can be to the windscreen. Because the windscreen today is like the house for all the safety systems and other features. And this is what we are going to be discussing in the remaining part of our webinar. Now I would like to invite you to a short break, and then after the break I'll see you again.
Szanowni Państwo, witamy bardzo serdecznie.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome after the break. We're coming back to the fascinating topic of vehicle glass. As we've already learned, this is not only the part of the car through which you see the world, but this is the windshield is the command center for all the safety systems. So if it's such an important part of the vehicle, it has to be repaired properly, but you also need to be able to diagnose the damage. Our next guest is a very interesting person, Thibaut Cardinael from AGC Automotive Europe, a commercial manager. And he's going to tell us about all these amazing things related to diagnosing the damage. This will be a premiere presentation.
Hi, Thibaut.
Hi, Joanna.
Hi, how are you today?
Good, thank you. And you?
Thank you. Everything is absolutely fine. We are safe in our studio, and we are very happy to have you here also. Are you ready for the presentation?
I'm ready to go.
Let's start.
Thank you. So, hi everyone, and first of all, thank you very much to the Autoglass team and all their partners for making this webinar possible. My name is Thibaut Cardinael. I'm the commercial manager of JAC, a new business entity of AGC Automotive Europe. We are located, JAC, in Belgium. AGC Automotive is one of the worldwide leading supplier of glass solutions for OEMs and aftermarket companies. In the world, 1 car out of 4 is equipped with AGC glazing. And JAC, a connected service developed by AGC Automotive, provides fleets with glass breakage detection solution, which is key for proactive windshield maintenance and repair ratio improvement. Eddie Irving from Belron started raising your awareness about the increasing complexity and cost of windshield maintenance for fleets, explaining why repair is the best way to reduce your claim cost. My bold objective for the next couple of minutes is to give you some clue on how to manage it and how to maximize the repair ratio of your windshields. But first, let me share with you some facts about ADAS and windshield calibration. The first question that I want to address with you is why fleet managers should care about windshield maintenance. You should care because of ADAS, which makes vehicles more complex and costly to maintain. ADAS stands for Advanced Driving Assistance Systems. To make it simple, these are the electronic systems based on sensors and cameras which assist drivers in driving and parking functions. These systems improve the driver's safety and comfort. ADAS technologies are located a bit everywhere around the vehicle, in the bumper, in the tires, but also behind the glass. One very widespread example is the forward-facing camera that is mounted behind the top of the windshield, which is used for emergency braking and lane keeping. ADAS systems are rapidly growing and rapidly becoming standard on new model of vehicles. The expected penetration rate of basic ADAS systems like emergency braking or lane assist is above 25% in 2025 for all registered vehicles. The European Parliament has also adopted in 2019 a regulation that will make gradually ADAS mandatory on all new vehicles. For example, emergency braking will be mandatory on all new models from June 2022 onwards. And other systems like speed assistance will follow the same path. These ADAS systems have two impacts on your windshields. First, it requires a more complex windshield with tight optical tolerance. And second, it requires a sensor calibration after a windshield replacement. If the position of the camera is not perfect, or if it is moved during a windshield replacement, it will lead to an incorrect function of the ADAS system. The calibration process after a replacement of a windshield is thus very, very important. But this windshield complexity and this need for a recalibration both induce increasing maintenance cost for you, fleet managers. Replacing a windshield becomes more and more expensive. An independent study from KTI in Germany, conducted on several car models and several ADAS types, shows, based on cameras, lidars, and head-up display, that ADAS result in an increase of claim cost for windshield replacement between 30 and 250%. Another well-known organization, Tatcham Research, evaluates that the average windshield replacement bill has risen by 32% over the last 3 years. And this figure is likely to be higher for most of the fleets because you renew your vehicles more frequently. So, Eddie was right in his first presentation of this morning. Glass maintenance cost is increasing due to ADAS systems and recalibration process. In this context, it's key for you to repair windshields in order to eliminate glass replacement and calibration needs and so to reduce your claim cost. In the next few slides, I will explain you how connected telematics can help you maximizing your windshield repair ratio, meaning how you can reduce as its minimum the number of windshields you replace. So, what can you do to curb that growing cost of glass maintenance? As in many other industrial examples, preventive maintenance is key. You have to repair windshields while damages are still limited in order to avoid replacements which are time and money consuming. The potential is actually bigger than what you might think. 60% of windshield replacement could be avoided by timely repair. But tools are needed to unlock that preventive maintenance and to unlock that potential of cost reduction. Glass breakage detection telematics is one of these tools. At AGC Automotive Europe, we have developed Jack, the first solution to address this problem of rising windshield maintenance cost. Jack is the first aftermarket connected service designed to detect, diagnose, and notify in real time all glass damages of any vehicle in your fleet. Jack is a game changer regarding the way you will manage your glass maintenance. With the real-time notification of the breakages on the windshield of your fleet, you can quickly and proactively schedule the repair of the windshield and avoid a replacement, which can drastically reduce your glass maintenance, even up to 50%. Jack will let you save money. Jack is already today in the hands of some key fleet managers and glass fitting networks in Europe. And Jack works very simply. The first step, an autonomous device is retrofitted on the windshield of the vehicle. Installation is done in less than 30 seconds by anybody. No wiring to the car battery, therefore no professional installation needed. Even the driver of the vehicle can do it by himself. This device is equipped with sensors that will detect all the impacts occurring on the windshield of the vehicle. Then, second step, once an impact is detected, the sensor signal is automatically communicated to a server, where machine learning will process the signal to qualify the impact severity and the impact location. If the impact is confirmed to be breaking, and it can be a small crack or a large crack, a notification will be automatically and directly sent to the fleet manager. This notification can also be sent to the driver by email or via the Jack mobile application, which is available on iOS and Android. And it can even be sent to your glass fitting network. It means that you have all the tools you need to schedule quickly the windshield repair and to schedule it preventively, And this will allow you to avoid the replacement of that windshield later in time when the crack becomes larger. You understand now why Jack is an enabler to boost your repair ratio and to boost the number of windshield you can repair against replacement. With Jack, you can start saving money on your glass maintenance as from today. The main advantage of Jack is, of course, to drastically improve the repair ratio of your windshields, and so to allow you to reduce your cost. But the benefits of Jack go beyond this repair ratio optimization. With Jack, you can also increase the uptime of your fleet, because repairing a windshield is much faster than replacing a windshield. But with Jack, you can also reduce your carbon footprint. Repairing a windshield emits less CO2 than replacing a windshield. And you can also improve the driver safety with windshields always in perfect conditions. But that's not all. For example, you can also increase your damages recovery rate by knowing precisely when the breakage occurred. These are only a few examples of all the benefits that you can enjoy thanks to Jack. This brings me to the end of my presentation. As a summary, the key takeaways I would like to remind you are the following. Windshield replacement is getting more and more complex and costly due to ADAS systems. Preventive maintenance is key. 60% of windshield replacement could be prevented. Glass breakage detection telematics can unlock that potential of cost reduction. And Jack is the first service to provide a solution for this problem of rising windshield maintenance cost. It is already in the hands of major fleet managers and fitters in Europe. Together with Autoglass, we will be pleased to assess your glass maintenance cost, to evaluate the savings you can make with Jack, and to validate them on your fleet with a test of the Jack solution. So don't hesitate to contact us. And I will, of course, be happy to answer all your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Thibaut, for your presentation. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.
Thank you, Joanna.
Szanowni Państwo, to był Thibaut Cardinael.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Thibaut Cardinael from ADC, who described a device for us that can monitor 24 hours a day of what's happening with our windshield. And if something wrong happens, if we are notified by Jack, then we may start the repair. So I think that we should stop talking and start doing something. We have to show you the repair in practice. But for now, I would like to invite you to a short break, and then we are going to go to a garage to see the glass repair.
Zaawansowane systemy asystujące kierowcy błyskawicznie stają się podstawowym wyposażeniem samochodu. Kamery, czujniki i radary zbierają informacje wokół pojazdu i przesyłają je do komputera pokładowego. Zapewnia to prawidłowe działanie elektronicznego asystenta kierowcy i systemów bezpieczeństwa. takich jak automatyczne hamowanie awaryjne, system antykolizyjny, wykrywanie pieszych, wspomaganie cofania oraz jazdy, a także rozpoznawanie znaków drogowych czy inteligentna kontrola prędkości. Często za przednią szybą znajduje się kamera. Podczas wymiany szyby musimy odłączyć kamerę, a następnie zamontować ją ponownie. Wówczas urządzenie należy ponownie skalibrować, aby systemy asystujące kierowcy działały prawidłowo. AUTOGLASS jako pierwsza firma zainwestowała w niezbędne wyposażenie i szkolenia z zakresu rekalibracji. Nieustannie śledzimy rozwój tej technologii, aby móc odczytać, ocenić i przekalibrować niemal wszystkie instrumenty pomiarowe systemów wspomagających kierowcę w Twoim samochodzie, niezależnie od marki pojazdu. Jest to możliwe dzięki naszemu modułowemu systemowi rekalibracji, który posiada odpowiednie panele dla rozmaitych marek samochodów. Oprogramowanie diagnostyczne przeprowadza naszego specjalnie przeszkolonego technika przez każdy etap procesu ponownej kalibracji. Łączymy się z systemem diagnostycznym i wybieramy odpowiedni typ samochodu. Ustawiamy przyrządy kalibrujące z milimetrową dokładnością. Ponownie kalibrujemy wszystkie systemy zgodnie z wytycznymi producenta. Otrzymujemy raport z przeprowadzonych kalibracji. Jeśli po wymianie przedniej szyby opuszczasz AUTOGLASS, dajemy Ci pewność, że wszystkie systemy bezpieczeństwa i wspomagania kierowcy, które ucierpiały w wyniku uszkodzeń, zostały ponownie skalibrowane zgodnie z wytycznymi producenta. Nasza praca kończy się dopiero wtedy, gdy możesz bezpiecznie wrócić na trasę.
Szanowni Państwo, wracamy po przerwie do tematu.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome after the break. And now we're talking about technology. We're talking about complex matters, something that's very new to me. We're talking about vehicle glass, and now we're going to talk about repairs. I had no idea one could repair so many cases of damaged glass rather than replace. I'm talking to Tomasz Kot, Sales and Marketing Manager for AUTOGLASS. He knows a lot about glass repair, vehicle glass repair. Tomek, I love cars. I love all things automotive, and it seems like I may know a little bit more than an average person about cars and vehicles and the industry, but I had no idea one could repair vehicle glass and that it was safe to do that. Do drivers know about that? Well, indeed, last year there was a study that indicated that over 50% of drivers, vehicle users, had no idea that glass can be repaired. Yeah, there's not enough awareness about it. Yeah, especially that repairs can be beneficial for drivers, vehicle users, vehicle owners, insurance companies, or for our environment. If I heard that from someone who was not an expert, I would think maybe resin, repairs, it could not be safe. But actually, when I hear it from you, I can tell it's a good solution. Indeed, very good solution, very safe, totally safe, especially that, as we mentioned, we're putting safety first. One of the biggest advantages of repairing instead of replacing is saving time, because repair is 20 minutes. To repair, 20 minutes. Yes, a very short time. Replacement takes at least an hour. And let's remember that if you repair, you don't have to order glass or windscreen or anything like that. Yeah, you just go in to the shop. You know that you need a repair. There is a repairman. He does that knowledgeably within 20 minutes, and you can go. Yes, you can go. You're safe. Of course, each time there has to be an assessment, an evaluation whether this glass can be repaired or whether it has to be replaced. But many times it can be repaired. We save time. We also save money, especially that repairs are a dozen or so times cheaper than replacement. We know from what we've said before, the cost of glass replacement is going up, has been going up over the years. So the difference between the cost of repair and the cost of replacement will grow even further. Let's also remember that the cost of manufacturing windscreen or any other piece of glass autoglass will just go up. Yes, plus our environment, right? It's important. We really need to take care of our planet. Indeed, we do. Repairing vehicle glass has much less impact on the environment, much less than a replacement, and we'll be talking about it later on. You don't have to manufacture or transport or store new windscreen, for example. So you're reducing your impact on the environment, your negative impact on the environment, if you choose to repair instead of replace. Sure, indeed. So as I promised, let's take our viewers to our repair shop. Let's see what happens when you repair a windscreen. Jarek Kuciński is with us. Good morning. The first camera, the second camera, we're there. We can start. Let's do this. So I would like to welcome everyone at the webinar. My name is Damian, and I'll be your eyes and ears so that you can see how glass can be repaired. So, what do we need to do this repair? We need to make sure that we're safe. We need to have all the safety equipment. Right. Good morning. We're in one of the AUTOGLASS repair shops. Robert is our technician. You've been here for 10 years, working 10 years, 250 days a year, over 10 years, 2,500 days, times 6 repairs a day. So 15,000 repairs or replacements of vehicle glass. So probably you can show us. So now the vehicle will be prepared for a repair service. So we're securing the steering wheel and the gearbox and all the touch points. So the gear shift, all the doors, everything is secured. Each time when a car comes in, we make sure that there are no other, let's say, signs of damage that what we're going to repair, namely vehicle glass. So we're checking the whole vehicle. Every single chip on the paint, every dent, we just note it down. So after inspection, the driver or the client signs the document where we have taken note of all possible small damages on the car. And let's see what we have here. It's a small chip, something, a little stone, a little pebble from the road, hit your windscreen. There's a chip, right? So let's take a look from up close. Right, such a chip is something that we see very often. So how can we repair it instead of replacing the whole windscreen? We need to know how vehicle glass is structured. It has 3 or more layers. So I will show you this in the second camera. Modern vehicle glass has a layer of glass, 1 or several layers of laminate, and then another layer of glass. So what gets damaged is just the outer layer. So take a look. So let's go to our car, to our vehicle that we're going to take care of, the windshield that we're going to repair. In order to manage your repair successfully, you have to take a look at the size of the chip. It cannot be more than 24 millimeters, so a 5 zloty coin. And it cannot be closer than, here's your face. Well, no problem. It's happening live, so not to worry. Let's move on. So, it cannot be, well, in order to make sure that we do this repair effectively, we need to make sure that the chip is no bigger than 24 millimeters, so more or less the diameter of a 5 zloty coin. And it cannot be closer than 10 centimeters from the edge of the windshield, which means it will never, once repaired, it will never break. We give a warranty, so if our repair doesn't hold, then we replace the whole windshield. So we know everything about the damage, we know that it fulfills all the criteria, so we can repair it. Let's start. So I'm just checking again whether it's no bigger than 24 millimeters. Yep, we can do this. So you're checking the temperature of the surface, yes, because there is a range of temperatures within which we can do this repair. It's from 0 to 29 degrees. So I'm securing the car and the elements of the car, the wipers, from any possible issues or... Okay, there is a little mirror. Yeah, sure, I want to see what I'm doing. So this decompresses the damaged part because glass makes sure that the whole structure is rigid enough. In the past, when in the old cars, these structures were not very rigid. Our modern windscreens are responsible for rigidity of the whole structure. When we remember Fiat 125 or 126, windshield was very small. It didn't provide a good field of vision. And it was the body of the car that was responsible for the rigidity of the whole structure. But in this case, the responsibility falls on a windscreen, that it's connected to the body. What you can see here is the latest state-of-the-art equipment for car glass repair. Vehicle glass has been evolving. Vehicle glass is thinner. In the past, the thickness was 7 to 8 millimeters. Right now, the structure can be as thin as 3 millimeters. But let's remember, this glass is responsible for the whole structure, for its rigidity. Plus, windscreen has all the cameras, all the sensors, the mirror is attached to it, so it's the scaffolding for all the other pieces of fitment, but it's very thin. So what's happening? I'm just cleaning out the damage. When you repair a windscreen, it's just like when the dentist treats your tooth. First, the tooth has to be cleaned, and then the surface can be repaired. So now we're doing the cleaning. Why are we repairing vehicle glass? One of the important elements here is time. Repair takes up to half an hour. Replacement could be more than 1 hour and a half. The process of glass replacement is much more complex, much more invasive. You have to cut out the windscreen from the rest of the car, then put the new one. You have to dismantle the wipers and all the other decorative elements, while a repair takes much less time, and you're just making sure that the chip is gone and that the repaired place is as transparent as it used to be, so that the driver can safely drive and see what's going on in front of them. Right now, you can see that the repair head is placed over the damaged part, and it fills the chip with resin. Unlike those resins that you can buy online, our resin and our device fills the chip completely with resin, making sure that the windscreen is going to be as durable and its performance is going to be the same as before the repair. One of the important aspects for repairing or of repairing windscreens is, of course, our environment. Let me show you something. In this container, you have vehicle waste from around 100 vehicles, so 100 windscreens taken out. So if you did, and after 100 repairs of windscreens, that's the waste. This is it. So here you see all the substances and everything that is left as waste after 100 repairs. So let's take a look at what's going on with our repair. So what's going on? Right, the chip has been filled with resin, so we can move on.
Na wypełnione uszkodzenie aplikujemy twardą żywicę.
So we apply hard resin on the spot. We call it hard resin, but it's something that can be treated, can be polished, making sure that the glass is transparent and smooth. After making sure that the resin is hard enough, we're removing any excess. Now you're going to hear a rather unpleasant series of sounds. But this is almost done. Right now, the excess of hard resin is being removed.
No.
And we're practically done.
To właśnie w tym momencie,
So,
w trakcie
this
wykonywania
is-
tych końcowych czynności kosmetycznych,
This is now. This is when our technicians are putting final touches on the repair, when they have to be very focused and very precise. Because if something goes wrong, the whole fragment from the moment of placing hard resin over the chip would have to be done again.
reszta to już tylko kosmetyka.
And all these things that are happening right now, these are just final touches.
Dla uzyskania jak najlepszego
In order to make sure that the final outcome is as good as possible, the spot needs to be polished, then the windscreen needs to be wiped clean, and the driver can leave the shop. Thank you so much. Going back to the studio. Thank you. Over to the studio. Goodbye. Robert was doing the repair for you. Thank you so much. And let's go back to the studio. Right. This was a repair. There's practically no trace. You can't see what was repaired. But, well, for us to be able to be here in the studio, for everyone to be able to be here during this conference, we all had to go through COVID tests, making sure that we're healthy and that we can do this job. Same goes for windscreens, maybe not COVID, but there are certain diagnostic activities that have to be performed so that the technician can tell you whether they can repair your damage or maybe you would have to replace the whole windscreen. But anyway, I would like to encourage you to ask us questions. Jarek will very soon join me, will come to us from the workshop, and he can answer your questions around glass repairs. So please ask your questions. We'll be back after a short break.
As I have promised, a technical man specializing in autoglass repair has come back from the car garage, and he's back with us. So, well, I have to admit that this process of windscreen repair is fascinating. I mean, it looks like a new one. But we're going to answer all the questions soon, but let's now first take care of our Mother Earth. If we don't start thinking responsibly, this beautiful view will disappear before our eyes. Planet B does not exist. It's good to look into the future. in order to take better care of it. This is our home. A very important topic, ecology. This is the topic that's relevant to all areas of our life, no matter what we do, in what industry we work, no matter how we behave, we need to bear ecology in mind. And how does that relate to vehicle glass repair? Jarosław Kuciński, a man specializing in these issues, will answer this question. Well, we were showing you the waste generated by windshield replacement, and you've also seen the amount of waste resulting from windscreen repair, much smaller. In order to produce one windshield, our factory uses 18 liters of water and 21 megawatts of energy. Yeah, you can imagine 18 liters of water. And of course, we need to save water because the water is becoming scarce on the planet. And as for the energy, it's more or less the same amount that is consumed by a heater in your apartment working 24 hours a day. So this is what our factory uses, and we use the float glass and other components. And what the values that I've given you were without the energy and water, etc., needed to produce these components, plus fuel, etc. Yes, so we seem not to realize that this is a huge difference. We, the drivers, were used to the situation in which whenever the windshield got damaged, it just got replaced immediately. Yes, immediately. That was the immediate action. What should be happening is that when something wrong happens to the windshield, you go to the car garage and check whether it can or cannot be repaired. If it's repairable, that's good. Otherwise, you will generate a lot of waste, the old windscreen. Well, we frequently do not pay attention to such things. I mean, our windscreen has been damaged, so you become preoccupied with other things rather than ecology, being environmentally friendly. We're just thinking about our safety or the costs involved, etc. Well, what is important is that 50% of Polish drivers do not know that windscreens can be repaired. In Scandinavia, 60% of windscreens are repaired rather than replaced. Well, the Scandinavians, of course, take better care of the roads. They never use salt on the roads, for example, and we do. And the surface of the roads in Poland gets damaged more frequently, which of course makes driving less safe. And also it's more probable that windscreens will be damaged. Okay, let's go back to the windscreen repair, which is environmentally friendly and has many other advantages. Well, I hope that you will ask questions to Jarek concerning the repair and the technological process that's taken place. I have an important question. Can all the damage to the windscreen be repaired? Well, what we tell our clients is that the size of the damage matters. It cannot be larger in diameter than 24 millimeters, so it's like 5 zlotys coin. And also the location on the windscreen is very important. The current windscreens are much thinner than the old ones, and these windshields are responsible for the structural stiffness of the vehicle. The windshield may account for 40 to even 60% of the structural stiffness. And windshields are huge today. So if there is a damage, a small one, the natural property of the glass is to crack. So then if you try to drive on the one wheel on the sidewalk, probably the windscreen will break. This is pure physics. Inside the vehicle, it's warm. Outside, the temperature, especially in the winter, is much lower. So there is a difference of 20-25 degrees centigrade. The dashboard can be heated up to 75 degrees centigrade in the summer. So what we do, we get into the car and put the air conditioning on. And yes, I always suffer, I have sore throat. So there is very significant tension, and the damaged windshield may crack. So this is there is structural stiffness plus temperature difference. And that's why we only repair the damages which are 10 centimeters away from the edge of the windscreen. So if I go to you and get my windscreen repair, so if it cracks anyway, how much time do I have to lodge a customer's complaint? Well, we are so certain about our repairs that actually we give a lifetime guarantee for our repairs. You take full responsibility for it, yes. If such windscreen cracks, then we will replace it for free with a new one from our stock. Well, I have a question concerning the repair systems. I mean, there are special repair kits, something like that exists. So, of course, if there is a damage to the windscreen, you can just, do it yourself using such a kit. Of course, so sooner or later you will have to go to the car garage, and the same goes for the car tires. What do you think? Should we try to repair our own windscreens? Well, you can try, but if you try to do it yourself, then we may not be able to help later on. Of course, there are some resins available over the internet, and our device works based on the vacuum principle. So the chip is fully filled with the resin. And then we make sure that after the repair, the full transparency of the windscreen is maintained so that you can drive safely. And let's also remember how the airbags work in the case of a crash. The windscreen constitutes the barrier for the airbag. If the windscreen is not repaired properly, then it may happen that the airbag will not work properly, which will lead to serious injuries of the driver. Well, this is the discovery that I've made during this meeting. The windscreen is like a control center. So what if I bring a car to you with damaged windscreen, but the damage is in the place where all the sensors are located? Well, there are certain areas on the windscreen where the damage cannot be repaired. Like, for example, if this is the ADAS bracket, if the camera, for example, gets damaged, etc., then the repair is not possible, but this happens very rarely. Usually, the damage is caused by small stones, aggregates, usually happen to the middle part of the windscreen. Well, because actually of the distance between the car wheels and the course which the car is taking, usually it's in the middle of the windscreen that the damage happens. Well, this really is amazing what can be done to the windscreen. Tomorrow we are going to talk more about autonomous driving, and we're going to say more about the functions of the windscreens. We're going to discuss the calibration and recalibration of the systems. But knowing that the windscreen performs so many functions, if the windscreen is repaired by a professional, should we be afraid? Well, theoretically not, and practically no. You should not be afraid. According to the Polish legislation, the vehicle which is allowed to move on the roads should be prepared and equipped in such a manner as to give the full field of vision to the driver. So what happens in the case of the repair? Will the windscreen meet the conditions imposed by legislation? Yes, it will. So we can feel safe and comfortable. And of course, we will be even more comfortable once we learn more about the recalibration, once we learn more about the systems that are installed on the windscreen. And all this is going to be described tomorrow, together with Jarosław Kuciński and all other experts from Autoglass company. I would like to invite you to tomorrow's webinar. Thank you very much. Thank you.
No i proszę bardzo, wracamy jeszcze do Państwa.
All right, we're back because there are a lot of questions that have been asked by the participants. So before we discuss recalibration tomorrow, Jarek, I'm going to use you to answer the questions. I'm very happy to see that you are such active participants. So the first question. Will the spot that's been repaired not change its color under the influence of the sunlight? Well, this depends on how fast we react to the damage. How much time passes between the damage and the repair? Because the important thing is that nothing gets into the chip. Because if actually some oily substances enter this place, etc., it will be very difficult to really clean this particular spot on the windshield. You remember when we are in the repair center, you've seen that we are cleaning the damage using a special repair head. So the comparison to the dentist is very appropriate here, because the dentist also tries to clean our tooth and then fills it in. So if we react fast enough, if no substances that we cannot clean get in the chip, then everything should be okay. There are also solar windshields that filter out most of the visible light and also the harmful light, UVA and UVB. And silver oxide, among others, is used in the case of such windscreens. And the longer we wait with the repair, the worse the situation, because actually oxidation will happen. So the color may change in such a case. Now, a question which is very adequate. Do you also repair heated windscreens? Yes, we do. I mean, heating does not really matter for the repair process. I mean, the older heating system is easy because we don't see the small wires used for heating. If, of course, this wire is not broken, then heating will work. Well, it seems that it's a very delicate element. Well, actually, it is pretty delicate, like in the traditional light bulb. I mean, these electric wires are imprinted into the laminate. And also, if we break just one wire, it will be only this one that will not heat the windshield. Now, is it possible to repair an old chip on the windscreen? I mean, really old. It did happen, like it happened half a year ago. Well, if the diameter is up to 24 millimeters and if it's located 10 centimeters from the edge of the windscreen, then we will be able to repair it. Just the quality of the repair, well, it will depend on what got into the chip. Now, is it possible to repair several damaged spots at the same time? Because it happens that we follow a truck transporting, aggregates, and there are several damages. Well, we had several truck drivers who came to us once or twice a week to repair their windshields as soon as possible. And they worked by spreading aggregates during the road building. So it once happened, for example, that the 14 chips were located on the windscreen. Probably the cost of the repair was higher than the cost of replacement, but still we did it. So everything is possible. Well, we've already said that, but let's repeat it. What is the guarantee for the repair? No time limits. This is lifetime guarantee. Once we start the repair, we take the risk. If the windshield breaks after the repair, we will replace it for free. Now, if this spot is filled with resin, will it not get deteriorated later on? As you've seen, we hardened the resin using the UV light. What may happen Of course, the same spot can be hit again. Of course, then you would have to come back to us, and we would do the repair, first removing the old resin. What about scratch, so linear damage? Well, we were saying that apart from the windscreen being something separating us from the outside conditions, it also is responsible for the structural stiffness. So in the case of such linear damages, the repair will not really be efficient. We were analyzing that, testing that, using a special piece of equipment. Of course, the resins have evolved. Right now we have modern ones. So we wanted to test our resins. But the research institute confirmed to us that 95% of the original strength of the given spot on the windscreen was regained. The natural the properties are regained.
What about scratches? When you, for example, scratch your windshield during the winter, if you go to an auto detailing place, they can repair it for you. Yeah, but when you scratch your windscreen, when you want to remove ice or something, you have to do it carefully because there might be some soil, there might be some sand there. And if there is some sand or some dirt in front of your scraper, between your scraper and the glass, this could scratch your windscreen. And when you scratch it, there's nothing you can do. You will not regain the transparency, so you cannot polish it. You could polish it, but actually you're not going to have the same parameters. I've done that just out of curiosity. I scratched my window or windscreen and I tried to polish it. But when I polished those scratches, there was a lens, optical lens was created in the very same place. So when I was driving along a railway line, I felt like something was moving right next to my windshield. So some optical illusions could be created if an optical lens is formed because you keep looking at this place. Plus, if there is one or two scratches, it will take 2 to 3 hours of polishing. A lot of time. But think about the cost of labor. It could be like half of a new windscreen. Right. So scratches, yeah, there are limits to what you can repair. What about, is there a trace after a chip repair? As I said, it depends on how soon after the chip you come in. And of course, every chip is different. It depends on what hits your windshield. If it's a stone, we call it bullseye. So this is something that we repair perfectly. You cannot find a trace. But there might be a star-shaped when you get hit with an aggregate from a modern road paving. So the chip is star-shaped, and that depends on how strong the impact is. If the impact is very strong, we will say, let's not repair it. If it's going to be in a critical place on the windscreen, we repair it, and then the driver will have to decide after a few days whether they repair or replace. Right? The following question, what about a windscreen that has some traces of sanding and one big stone chip? Is it possible to repair or not? If you can see a crack or a scratch, so when you can see dark lines coming away from the center of the chip, you can repair it. If the windshield has been like sanded or you can repair the chip, but the rest of it cannot be repaired. If it's been subject to sand, it's just like a bald tire. Sorry, if it's worn, you have to replace it, just like with a tire, because your windscreen is always subject to some of the to some sand, some soil. When you use wipers as well, it doesn't have to be chips, but it gets worn down. So, just like with the show in the studio, before we came to the studio, we had to get diagnosed whether we can come into the studio and do the show. Same with diagnosing your windshield. So, okay, your repair warranty means that if the repair doesn't hold, you would replace the windshield for free, but is it the cost of the windshield or the cost of labor as well? Yeah, we replace everything and we're responsible for everything. The cost of labor, the replacement, everything. We've been doing it for years. We haven't go bankrupt, which means we're pretty good at what we're doing. Right. There's one more. In what conditions do you work on the repairs? We could see your shop in the film. It looked very tidy, you know, your shop. Definitely there cannot be a lot of light. UV light hardens the resin, so you cannot do repairs in harsh light. Cloudy day is okay. It definitely cannot be rainy, so it has to be indoors. The temperature, just like my colleague said, it's between 0 to 29 degrees Celsius, but actually your cockpit, your dashboard could be sometimes as hot as 70 degrees when it's sunny outside. So it has to cool down. The repair takes 20 to 30 minutes, but sometimes you have to cool down the whole vehicle. We're talking about structural rigidity, right? You have to cool down the whole vehicle, not just the windscreen. So sometimes the car has to just be there, making sure that all the tension goes away between all the different elements of the vehicle, just like when it's cold, then the car has to warm up a little bit before the repair. Yeah, okay, I get it. Do you repair windscreens with cameras, with all the different fitments? Yes, if the camera was not hit by a chip. If the chip is outside of the range of the camera, yes. Can a repair be done in the very direct field of vision of the driver? Yes, we can do this repair, and the driver will have to just drive for a few days and see whether they like it or not. But if you repair, but there is a little bit of a trace, like for example, when you leave the workshop in a cloudy day, you don't see a trace, but then the following day it's sunny, you can see there is a trace, and it distracts you, then you come back to us, and then we replace it, and it's going to be cheaper by the amount of repair. So you would have to replace it anyway, so you would have to pay for it, but then we subtract the amount of the repair. Right. What about the repair? Does it affect the work of the wipers? Essentially, no. Yeah, because everything has to be smooth and transparent. Yeah. When we have repaired the glass, the surface is very smooth, very transparent, so wipers, their work is not affected at all. You may damage your wipers when you don't come in and do the repair, because then the rubber on your wipers might be damaged on the chip. Right. What about if the windshield cracks during the repair? We replace it with a new one. So if during your work, during your repair, there is a crack, you replace it. You order a new one and you replace it. Sure, yeah.
Powtórzmy prośbę od słuchacza,
Okay.
jaki jest czas gwarancji.
What is the time? What is the guarantee time? Indefinite, lifetime warranty.
Nie wiem, czy jeszcze mamy jakieś pytania?
Right? Are there any more questions? I don't think so.
Ja myślę,
Right.
że teraz już będziemy sobie
I
rzeczywiście
think
bardzo pięknie się żegnać.
now we can say goodbye to everyone.
Bardzo cieszę, że nam
I'm very happy that we've received so many questions from you, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow there'll be another opportunity to ask us questions. Tomorrow we'll get back to you and we'll talk about many important things around vehicle glass, around calibration, recalibration. Myself and Jarek Kuciński, the technical director, he knows really everything there is to know about vehicle glass. Sorry for technical issues. Mieliśmy problemy z
Dziękujemy Państwu bardzo serdecznie.
Dziękujemy.
Thank you so much, and we'll be there, we'll be here tomorrow, 10 o'clock. See you.